Hi, I'm Nir Eyal, author of Hooked, How to Build Habit-Forming Products. And I spent a lot of time with teams working on different products and services that are meant to change people's behavior. And one thing I always advise them is to really consider this two-part question when it comes to how to build ethically when it comes to products that, let's face it, manipulate people's behavior. Now, we all know that our products and services fundamentally do have to manipulate people to do the things we want them to do. Now, manipulation is not necessarily a bad thing as long as that manipulation is persuasion, not coercion. There's a big difference. We should realize the two. Both are forms of manipulation, but only persuasion helps people do things they want to do, versus coercion is getting people to do things they don't want to do. And so that's really the promise of what we do as product designers, is that we can help people live the kind of lives they want to live through our products. Whereas coercive products, these are things that use dark patterns and use other unethical means that, let's face it, don't last very long in the marketplace. That if you use coercive tactics, people are smart and you might trick them once, but the second time they're going to wise up. And in the meantime, they're going to tell all their friends about the way that you tricked them into doing something they didn't mean to do. So, we only want to persuade, we do not want to coerce. And let me talk about this two-part test that I call the manipulation matrix. And I talk about this in a whole chapter of my book, but just to give you a brief introduction, when it comes to how do we decide what's worth our time on Earth, here as in our professional life and just in our careers, what's worthy of our time? How do we make sure that when we build these products and services that we're spending our time in a morally ethical way? And so I give product developers a two-part test, and this two-part test involves the first question of looking yourself in the mirror and asking yourself, is the product or service that I'm working on, does it materially improve people's lives? Now remember, this test is not a way for you to judge other people or other people to judge you. This is just for you to make a decision about how you spend your limited time here on Earth and what kind of projects are worthy of your time. So number one question, is the thing I'm working on materially improving people's lives? Only you can answer that question. But that's not good enough. There's one more question I want you to ask when it comes to answering what's worthy of your time as a product manager or working in product. That second question is, am I the user? Am I the user? Now, many of us work on other people's problems and we're not necessarily the user, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. This isn't about which businesses will make money or won't make money. This is just about where is your biggest competitive advantage as someone building product. And I believe if you pass that two-part test of building something that you believe materially improves people's lives and you're the user, that's a really good ethical place to be. Why? Because if there are any deleterious effects to using your product, if there is any coercive tactics to using the product, guess who's going to know about it? Guess who's going to be hurt by it? You will. I'm making you break the first rule of drug dealing. If you know the first rule of drug dealing, it's don't get high on your own supply. Why? Because you're going to feel the negative effects. And I'm forcing you to break that rule, to be the person that uses the product itself. But it's not just about the ethics. I think number one, you're in a good ethical position if you use that two-part test. But there's another benefit. That if you are building something that you believe materially improves people's lives and you are the user, that's also a huge competitive advantage. That when you think about the stories, the founding stories of companies like Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and Slack and WhatsApp, all of these companies were founded by what I call facilitators. People who answer in the affirmative to that two-part test. They were building something that they believe materially improved people's lives, and they were the user. It is a huge competitive advantage to build something for a user that you understand intimately. And who do you understand more intimately than yourself? So I hope that gives you a little bit of insight around how to figure out what's worthy of your time, what kind of projects are worth spending your time on when it comes to changing people's behaviors, how to persuade versus coerce. And I wish you the best of luck in making products that improve people's lives. Good luck.